South Africa's energy crisis needs to be solved, and the issues at Eskom need to be dealt with. But with a large amount of load shedding as high as stage 6 over the last 2 months, things are getting more and more urgent.
It was observed that it would be necessary to have a national state of disaster because that would enable us to have the instruments that would be necessary to fully address the challenge that our nation faces. The Lekgotla also said that the President must coordinate all these processes that we need to embark upon to ensure that the energy crisis is properly addressed like we did during COVID-19.
Since then, the government has held a cabinet Lekgotla discussing the legality around such a move. But if a state of disaster is officially enacted, is it actually going to do any good to fix the situation at Eskom and get more power on the grid? Energy expert Chris Yelland says it's a risky move and believes it can only be positive if the government knows exactly what it plans to do with the emergency powers that it would receive.
We've seen in the past with COVID that indeed it can be abused. And if this is to allow unfettered emergency procurement, like emergency procurements of coal occurred in the past, allowing all kinds of irregularities as a result of bypassing, good due process in the procurement process, then I think it could be a very dangerous move. But if it's done on a limited basis, for a limited time, with a definite identified set of actions, I think it could be a useful instrument.
Last month, Energy Minister Gwede Mantashe addressed an ANC symposium on energy in his capacity as the party's chairperson. While there, he touted the possibility of a 10-year contract awarded to Car Powership Energy. The Turkish company won a key emergency renewable energy contract last year and was to supply more than 1,200 megawatts of power to our grid. Car Powership, which supplies ship-mounted gas-fired power plants only for the duration of the contract, has been tipped by Mantashe as an immediate solution to the energy crisis, despite its high cost. Environment Minister Barbara Creecy has previously dismissed Car Powership's application after environmental activists lodged complaints about its impact on fishing, local ecosystems, and potentially greenhouse gas emissions. And with heavy opposition and strict environmental protocols, Yellen believes that the declaration of a state of disaster could potentially be key for the future of the proposed deal.
The 10-year process, the 10-year PPA at an even higher cost, is also going to face the same kind of hurdles as a 20-year. And I think that if they're going to get this Car Powership over the line, the way they would probably do it is through a state of disaster, which gives government the power to bypass the normal checks and balances that are causing the problems.
While the Disaster Management Act does make provisions for man-made disasters, Ramaphosa and his government will continue to face pressure and scrutiny over the energy crisis, whether a state of disaster is declared or not. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Andersen in Johannesburg.